everybody. This is Dr. Annette Feravich, and I am here in the classroom engagement. What I started here was yesterday, if you could believe it, this was completely spotless of leaves. In fact, it wasn't just yesterday that it was completely spotless of leaves. It was last night that it was completely spotless of leaves. And now look at it. And in fact, I have already bagged up one bag of leaves, and I have another one ready to go and a third almost ready to go. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get the camera out here and I'm going to figure out how to tell you guys and share with you guys this fall cleanup. Fall cleanup on, any size property really can be a lot of work. These stairs had all the leaves cleaned off of them three times already in the last week they did. And they don't have a lot of leaves on there, but they have enough leaves. If you turn over here, you could see where my red maple is and all the leaves that have dropped. It was about a week ago that it was cleaned out, but it was all cleaned out here. And you can see I still have about, I would say, 1/3 of the tree left. So here's the thing about fall cleanup, and that is, if you don't want to have to pay a company like I used to do, and I do not want any companies here on my property any longer, right? So I have to now do it all myself, right? Everything, even the crew, they don't want to come out on Fridays. I know, I gave them the day off. I said, hey, listen, I have an idea. Who wants to come out? And they're like, not me. You don't pay well enough. And I'm like, but do you know what's going on in my life? And they're like, yeah, we've heard several times. Anyway, you still don't pay well enough. I get it. I totally get it. I don't want to be that person who's not paying my crew, right? Okay, I'm back again. A little wardrobe change just because I wanted to try and be a little more modest and not worry about what I look like as I'm getting these things done. So, and then also had to get a few other supplies. Make sure you have your supplies before you get started, or at least, who cares if it's before you get started? Maybe you get them during you get started. During you get started, exactly. So coffee. I always like to have music, but I can't have music online and when I'm talking to you, so I don't have music. But music is a great way to pass the time especially when you're doing this. You need to have a good rake. I hate those stupid plastic rakes. Somebody left 2 of those pieces of junk here, and now I can't throw things away, so whatever. I throw things away. I just have a hard time throwing something useful away that somebody could still use. I like the metal rakes. They bend, right? And those plastic ones do not. So a good rake that you like. Bags. We're here in Michigan. So your, what do we call these? Leaf bags. What are we doing? I don't even know what these are. What is happening? And also, I really did use my leaf blower to get these piles, and I found that helpful. The other thing that you need is time, or about $425 to have somebody do a good size yard, a fall cleanup, and then there are no guarantees. As I've said, all the service, I fired them all because they have all done terrible jobs on my lawn. The last time I had a fall cleanup, it was a good fall cleanup. It took me forever to find somebody. I could never find somebody for the next 2 years because they're a bunch of criminals. They're criminals. Who's your president? That tells me something. Okay, I'm sitting down, and I love, actually, this is just the best thing for kids to be doing in the fall with their families. Now, when you do it by yourself, you really do have to do it a step at a time, right? So as I said, this whole area, about 8:30 last night, this whole area was empty of leaves, and it looks so beautiful. And then this morning I went to go take a look at it because I love looking at the finished work. And it was filled with all these leaves. I filled 2 bags already and then thought I'm going to get online and teach you how to do a fall cleanup on property. So let me start again a little bit, so make sure that you know what you have. Number one, you need leaf bags. Number two, you need a rake. Number three, you need your coffee or whatever you're going to do to help you enjoy. And that's actually number one, to help you enjoy what you're doing. Mine is coffee, and as you know, I usually take a few puffs here and there. We're not doing that right now on this camera because you already know what I do when I take a break. So we don't need to do that. And also, you have to deal with the frustration of this. Okay, so if you haven't done, one of the things you have to deal with is the frustration of people who are criminals, buyer beware, right? Home buyer beware. If they do it in October, guess what you're going to end up having in November? Still more leaves. So you need to have them do the fall cleanup right before the snow falls, honestly. And that gets to be difficult to time that as well. Well, when you're doing it by yourself, however, you have to take advantage of every single nice day or nice weekend that you have in order to get these things done, because you're not going to have all the leaves on the ground, but then you don't have to deal with all the leaves. Now, yesterday, what I did was I took my wonderful Toro, whatever it's called, I can't remember, the big 30 inch is what I have, something like that, 36 inch, I don't even know, something like that, but wider than the 21-inch electric start, mulched the hell out of all these leaves, right? So it was just perfect. In fact, I went over it a second time because there were so many leaves there that I went over it a second time and had it mulched. So when you have a great lawnmower with a great mulcher, you can do this by mowing the lawn if you're all by yourself. But as you can see, it gets very frustrating because I just finished it last night and had a perfectly bare green lawn right here, and this is what I woke up to this morning. So it can be frustrating. You have to deal with the frustration of fall cleanup one way or the other. If you have a piece of property, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a piece of property, you know the work involved. So now what I'm doing here is I am putting the leaves in a bag, and then I'm going to go and get my blower, which is charging. I made these nice piles with my Greenworks blower, got them into some relatively good piles until it ran out, right, of battery. It's battery operated. So that's the reason why this pile here is still spread out, because I ran out of battery. I had this pile here that I'm finishing up and I will be bagging, and then I had another pile that I bagged as well. So let's go ahead and finish up the bag, and you guys will just follow me with whatever I'm doing, all right? I didn't show you some of the other things that were done, which I want to show you. I told you, though, that my boys piled up the wood for me, right? And so you can see the sort of dirt patches that are there, and in those dirt patches were where there was all kinds of brush and debris from a lot of windy seasons, right? We get a lot of wind here. All right, so I'm gonna get up. This is a 58-year-old woman, and this is the thing. You've gotta keep your body in shape enough to do the things that you wanna get done, right? If you wanna do yard work, well, then do your yard work, and that will keep your body in shape enough to do your yard work. So I'm not doing, squats. I'm not doing squats. I'm not getting up and down very pretty. However, I do have the real strength to do the things on the lawn, and the stamina, right? And the stamina to do the things on the lawn that I want to get done. Okay, I'm going to tell you something else that I'm doing now, and that is I'm watching where I walk. I almost put on my knee twice on this ground because there's a lot of holes in the ground, and it's uneven and stuff, and I almost put my kneecap out. I'm always prayerful. I'm always thinking and talking to God in my head. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're trying to put my knee out now. That's what I'm doing. And all things work for good, right? For those who love God and who are called to his plan. Well, I love God and I'm called to his plan. So what is the trap right now? Well, a small trap is watching where I walk so I don't put my kneecap out. And I'm using those little pit holes that are all over this lawn that could make me fall or twist my knee to get a good grip. It's like on the mountainside. So I'm using them to get a good grip, and as long as I have a foothold in them, and instead of letting them surprise me, I'm actually using it to my advantage, and I'm getting around a lot faster. So things that we think about when we are mindful in the here and now. So many things in this classroom engagement that we learn. Full cleanup. Let's see some action. How about a little less lip and a little more action? I lay the bags down until I can't scoop anymore. There's a lot of room in these bags when your leaves are all dry. I remove all the sticks and I keep those for the fire. Okay, so I stopped to talk to you guys a couple times, but I picked up that pile in no time. I do like to lay the bag down and shove them in. You just have to be a little crafty, a little bit of a problem solver in shoving all of those in, right? You want to make sure that you're pushing, because they'll push low and the lips of the bag will fold in. Keep the lips of the bag out. You don't have to pay $15 for that stupid ass thing. You'll end up fighting with it more than anything, right? This is the only thing you have to fight with, is the idea that more leaves are going to fall. That's the only fighting you have to do. If you're okay with that, we're okay. Now, I'm going to go get my leaf blower. So, and finish this up because that's been plugged in. So I'll be right back with the leaf blower. Don't be frustrated. Okay, so I went inside and I got recharged. I got my coffee, got recharged, and I got my Greenworks. Let me show you what this is. They do have a tendency to change the language that they use in measurements for whatever they're measuring. And now they say CFM, whatever that is. Cubic feet moved, probably something like that. 450. And it's a 40-volt lithium battery. And maybe there's a bigger battery out there. I didn't look. Oh shoot, I forgot the battery. What you can see with the gust of wind is that, again, you could have a nice crying session if you were worried about the leaves that were still falling. Don't forget, they do stop falling. When they are empty of leaves, the leaves do stop falling. Oh, so we're not expecting this to be perfectly clean if we have a windy, dry day. But again, because I'm by myself and I love being outside and doing work outside, but I also like the benefit for my body as well. Yesterday, I was zipping around here. I told you I had all of this mulched. I went over it twice in a matter of, not very long, maybe an hour and a half. Snap that puppy on there, and now you've got some power. Don't play with it. There really is power. I think I told you that my son had an incident where somebody was like, how much power does this have? And they put it in their mouth and hit that, and they blew their jaw off. So don't do that. Don't do that. As angry as you men get, and I can get too as well on something like that. I told my son, I'm so happy he told me that story. I could see myself going, what the heck? Ooh. The point is that we all do crazy stuff when we get machines in our hands. And we better be careful. Now look out for some good power here. Okay, the key is watching where I'm walking. For me, is watching where I'm walking. And now I'm going to pick those up. You can see there that I do not have it all in one nice pile. That's why I have the rake, right? And that's why we have strong arms, and that's why we care about getting our arms strong, right? That's a great way. Raking is a great way to get not only our arms strong, but also our back muscles strong as well, which I really need. Those are my weakest muscles for sure. So I have it in a nice neat pile. It still needs a little bit of work. The pile needs a little bit of work, right? Is this, you could see how easy that was, right, for me to do, right? I could sit down and do it. So that means it's easy for maybe a 12-year-old to do, and probably fun as heck for that 12-year-old to do as well. The 12-year-old can't get in a whole lot of trouble with it if you give them warnings, like the one I gave you, and if you got a 30-minute battery, right? 30 minutes. You can watch a kid for 30 minutes to make sure they don't get themselves in trouble and get the right idea of, and get the hang of the whole thing, right? Then you've got, honestly, 3-year-olds who would have a riot helping you bag the leaves, but all the way up to the 12-year-old who is getting the piles ready for your leaf baggers. Oh, are we getting old-fashioned? Are we having 9 kids so we can get some yard work done? Only if we can enjoy it afterwards. But we're going to scoop it up now, and we're going to start raking. Okay, so here's where we have a much better view of everything, because we have a much better view of the water. So I put the bag down there right now. I don't want to make it more advantageous for the leaves to go in the water, right? So I put the bag sort of uphill. We're going to scoop that way. Now that sliding and scooping, you'll probably only be able to do till the bag's halfway full. Then you just can't get it in anymore. I know. Now, even though I probably didn't have to do that to get it in that pile, raking is really good for your strength in your arms and your upper back. Also, it gives me better balance because I'm raking and I have to keep my balance on this hill. So that gives me all kinds of core strength. See, I really can't push any more in. And it's less than half full. It's a good time to pick up the sticks, right? And then also, even if it's a small pile of debris, I don't ever want to leave a pile of debris. That really makes it. Now look, there's leaves all over the place. You're like, Dr. Feravich, seriously? You don't want to leave a pile of debris? Did you just take a look at what you were just cleaning? I hear you. However, listen up. Debris looks very different than randomly scattered leaves across your lawn, which is a beautiful fall look. Absolutely beautiful. Remember, part of fall cleanup, a big part of fall cleanup is not to be frustrated by nature, which are those things that you can't control, right? So enjoy yourself. I'm going to let this accumulate. The next time I'm out here again will probably be just for the lawn mowing, and that will be the end of this area's fall cleanup. The rest of the area is pretty much done. The last area will be, so that tree right here has got about 1/3 of the leaves left. That's my red maple, right? So that's why. And if you look down here, you could see all of the dried leaves that are there. So that's the last really good patch that I have to do. And I'm likely going to go right now and at least blow it into a pile. It's really not much there. So maybe I'll have you guys stay tuned and watch me blow this into a pile. You know, one last thing I wanted to say was I wanted to bring my cart up again. And for bagging these leaves and then carrying them away to the road, this cart is wonderful as well. One of the things about it, the last time I bagged the leaves, I left them where they were. They got wet and the bottoms came out. But if, as I'm bagging the leaves, I take my cart around to pick up those bags, I can put them in the garage until leaf pickup day, and I don't have to worry about doubling my efforts because I left these bags outside and didn't take them by the road like I should have. What? Dr. Feravich procrastinates? It's unheard of. I have no need to be a hero and bring up more than one bag at a time. But if you did want to test yourself for your strength, that's a great way. Dry leaves in a bag, not very heavy.
Now, anything like those tomato plants were, oh my gosh, of course not.
Notice how much more room I can even put in these bags when I squish them down, which is going to allow me to clean out this little bit of area over here. And then, is it sparkling clean? Well, look at the leaves all over the place. Of course it's not, but it looks like a fall cleanup and a lot of hard work that was done. Okay, so I did decide to tackle the area here, and I started cleaning out the flower beds that are over here. So I'm going to keep doing some beautiful work because it really still does inspire me. And I decided to tackle it so you could see my leaf blower there in the background. And as I said, I started already getting all the leaves out of the flower beds over there. And now I'm just going to keep going and have you watch and see what fall cleanup looks like when you are determined to get even more done. Okay, you just saw how long it ran for. I could probably get a couple more pumps out of it. But not much. So that's how long it ran for. I did a few things upstairs there for about maybe 5-6 minutes, something like that, probably 6 minutes. I want to get it all in this big pile here. And don't forget that this is a lot of fun for kids. The pile of leaves is a lot of fun for kids. And so let them do this. Let them blow the pile of leaves together and let them have some time to play. So look at how beautiful now all the grass is since I've been taking care of the lawn all by myself. All by myself. Although some of the wood piles, again, don't forget my sons did help me with that wood pile. So it's not that people don't help. But if you're generally a woman who is, an empty nester. I'm just showing you can do these things. Okay,
Again,
I got some of the accomplishments that you've done on your property inside your home. Make sure that you're stopping in the here and now and you are really taking a close-up look at that. That is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks for joining me here on our fall cleanup, where we have really got a lot done when you are the empty nester doing this all by yourself. And on a property that's about 3/4 of an acre, it really does save me right around $400, sometimes more. So thanks for joining me here in our classroom engagement fall cleanup. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I'm the teacher. You're here in the classroom getting schooled on fall cleanup.